All right. Hey, how's it going? My name is Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former professor, and welcome to part 5 in our Fullstack e-commerce website series. Let me give you a little preview of what we've been working on so far. So up in the corner here, you can see so far we've been working on a Fullstack e-commerce site that sells speakers, headphones, and earphones, an electronics sort of site. And so far we've built out our API using Next.js. We've created most of the relevant pages, including the home page, the individual category pages, and each product page that allows you to add the product to cart and check out using it. And then we've hooked up our Redux to handle global state management so far. So next in our sort of journey here is that we're going to be updating the way we handle our slugs. Right now, if you notice, I can share the screen a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. Right, so right now if you notice up here in the top, in our slugs, we actually have the number, the ID of the item instead of the actual slug, like X99 Mark II headphones. So we're going to be changing that so that we're using those slugs. We're going to be we're going to be building out our checkout page, because if you take a look at the actual sort of demo version of this larger checkout page is supposed to be available once you hit the button checkout in the cart right here. So we're going to build that, and then we're going to be correctly typing our application, because right now to sort of iterate quickly, we've done a lot of like really quick non-typed elements in our project, but we want to go ahead and type all of those things to make sure that we're using TypeScript to sort of the best of its abilities, and we're taking advantage of all the typing that it offers us. So that's what we're going to be working on today. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat below. I'm more than happy to take a pause and answer any questions as we go throughout our tutorial. And if you do enjoy the content that you're watching here, please feel free to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and follow along with the channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial. All right. So, as I mentioned, first things first, we are going to go ahead and update the way that we handle the slugs in our project here. So if we go, well, if you're not familiar with the way Next.js does pages, let's start there. They have, this is the pages router from Next.js. They have two options that you can use for routing, the pages router or the app router. This is the pages router specifically. And what it allows us to do is sort of create these dynamic pages that are based on some sort of variable or parameter that gets passed through the API and the way we're sending the data. So right now we have it based on the ID param property, but I do want to change, as I mentioned, to be based on the slug. So let's go ahead and implement that. So if we take a look at our data, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from where our data is. We see that every item has this property called slug, and that slug is what is, I think, intended to be used for our slug in our URL. So let's go ahead and use that as our slug option here. So to do that, we're just going to hop into our ID page here, which is where we do our router query. And we're going to change two things. We're going to change the name of the page. We're going to rename it so that it is called Slug. This isn't like not semantically necessary, but it does make it a little bit more clear when we're sort of working through the project. So we're going to change that to Slug. And then all of these calls to ID, or all of these sort of spots where the variable ID is living, we're going to change that to Slug as well. So we're going to change that here and here, slug, and down here as well. Awesome, cool. So that's set up. The next thing we want to change now, so if we take a look at what we set up here, right, we have in our use effect, which is where we're grabbing the API data, we are grabbing our data, and then we are checking to see if the item ID matches the slug. So what we want to do is change that from item ID to item.slug equals the slug that we're passing through, and then we want to establish that that is the correct product that we want to work with. Awesome. So we've set it up on the receiving end. Let's set it up on the sending end now. What do I mean by the sending end? Well, there are places within our app, throughout our app, where we have made these calls to create, these pages based on these different products. However, that's not going to work based on, the IDs that we have set up previously. Now that won't match. This call will fail if we try and call it right now. So what I'm going to do is go through the application, and you can see the page already has started to fail just because we've removed that parameter. So I'm going to go through the application and see where we have these these sort of calls. So if you take a look here, we have the first one here where it says see product. Pretty much anywhere where it says see product is going to be a call to the API through this ID page. So we can basically go through the home page and say, all right, well, in our hero component, we need to change that link. And then we have these individual product components that will also need to change. So just a few spots on that home page. So let's start there. So first things first, I'm going to go into our hero component, which is here, and I'm going to go ahead and change this first slug. So this is for the X99 Mark II headphones. So if I'm going to go into my data.json and just do a quick search for those headphones, I grab them here. I see that they do have the ID of 4, which is what it was before, but I want to grab this slug here and use that. So I'm going to go back to my hero, and then I'm going to drop in the href here. It's hard-coded because this is like a specific sort of hero feature. If it was like a carousel or something, maybe we would change it to be a bit more dynamic. But because it is like sort of our feature product, we're just going to hard-code it here and change this to be X99 Mark II headphones. That's Slug. And then if we refresh the page and we go in and click see product, we've done it correctly. So we look at the top here, it says X99 Mark II headphones is the new Slug. So basically now instead of, like if you were to host this website and say audiophile.com, you want to be able to share it and like share a descriptive slug so that people know what you're sharing and what you're talking about. So that is a really good practice that we're doing here in order to allow folks to, see the product clearly. All right, cool. So let's move on to the next portion here. So next thing we want to do here is we want to change, let's see, we had the hero and then we have these individual products. So let's go into these individual products and grab those slugs. So I'm going to go, let's close a couple of these that we don't need just at the moment to make our lives a little bit easier. Close that up. Awesome. You're done with the hero for now. So let's go here to our data.json and let's grab the YX1 earphones, which is our first. So we can just really quickly grab that slug, go back to the component here and drop that in our href. I'm going to go down to the ZX7 and do the same thing. So let's say ZX7, grab that slug there, drop that in here, save that. We're going to go back to the ZX9 and then do the same thing here. Go back to our data, ZX9, grab that slug there, and hop over here, drop that in there. Perfect, save that. Now that we've put those in, let's go ahead and test them out. Awesome, seems to be working pretty well. Good, that's working, and earphones, awesome. So those three are working, perfect. Finally, let's go, oh, you know what? We need to go to our, there's a component we built yesterday that is the, let's see, it's the category item container description and image. Basically what we did here was we created these images where we had the description on the side and there was a container that wrapped the two. What we want to do here is actually update the slug as well. So if we go to the category item description, and the reason we're updating the slug here is because when you click see product, it needs to go to the product instead of the random ID. So we're going to go to the description and see what we're being passed here. Let's close these three out because we don't need them anymore. All right, so the href is taking the ID. So I think what we probably want to do is just change the ID to be the slug. So we're going to say slug here. It's going to be a string. We're going to change this to slug. And we're going to go down here and change this to slug and save that. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. And then when we go to the container now, we need to change this to slug. And then pass in the slug as well and save that. That should be everything we need to do. Let's go ahead and refresh the page and see if that worked. Awesome. So if we go and we click see product, we're getting the correct products across the pages here. So this is one of the really powerful things about React is that it allows you to do really sort of like dynamic changes and updates across several different pieces using these components. And it's just a really quick way of updating your website or whatever your project you're working on without having to like go in and manually change each individual item. So pretty cool. Let's go ahead. Let's see what else is here. I think one thing that we did also need to do still was hook those slugs up on our Yes, our you may also like page. So this is within our component within the page. So this is our individual product page, right? So on that we have the image I mentioned, the description. You can add the product to cart, and then we also have some features and like a gallery and just a little bit more information. Here on the bottom or lower section here, we have the you may also like section. So this is sort of like the recommended section where you can sort of post like, oh yeah, or the website will recommend to you, oh, you might like this product or that product based on the fact that you like whatever product. So what we want to do here is actually update these so that they actually have links, because I don't think we even set them up with links to begin with. Also, if you do have any issues hearing, seeing, just let me know, leave a comment in the chat. Or again, if you do have any questions, please leave a comment down below. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and grab that component. So that was the recommendations, we called them. And so with the recommendations, I think if we check our API, we actually do get the slug for each recommendation. So they're from these others, like the other products that we're recommending. You do have, you get the slug, the name, the image, etc. So we've used the name of the image already. Let's go grab the slug and see and use that. We have our C product here. And what we're just going to do, we're going to just wrap this button or this text in a link. And we're going to use, that's the next link that we're using there. So we'll go ahead, see if it'll auto import. No. All right, let's just import it ourselves. We'll import link from next link. We'll save that. Awesome. And then what we're going to do, we're going to say href equals backticks slash, and it's going to be product dot slug, and save that. And then if that's worked correctly and refresh, we should be able to hit this and see the product. Awesome. So that's working well. We're good to go in that sense. Perfect. I think, what else do we need to do? I think I'm going to just update the quick width here of these images. They seem to be a little bit too wide because they're overlapping. And what else can we do here? Align item center, image. I think, maybe what we need to do is justify content, space between. That might help out. Excuse me. I might be looking at the wrong thing too. Let's take a look here. This is this flex box here. And we want our items. Oh, that's my bad. They should be line item center. Got you. Okay, got you. Justify content is applying. All right, cool. Let's see. This larger box is what we want to be looking at. There we go. Align items stretch. That's what we want. Align items, items, stretch, and we want justify content center. Perfect. I believe perfect, we'll see. Oh no, not quite perfect. Still getting justify content center. All right. Line item stretch. Align items center. Oh, it's this box here. My bad. That's sort of like the downside of having boxes. Like, if you don't remember why you put everything where, then it's a little bit more difficult to remember why and where everything is. All right, I'm gonna leave that for now. We can come back if necessary and touch that up. All right, cool. So we've handled the slug problem. So we can check one off on our list there. Again, if you do have any questions or comments or thoughts, just please feel free to drop them in the chat below. Or if you're watching this later, please feel free to drop them in the comments section down below. I do go back and respond to all the comments and questions. And if you do need help like learning how to code or any sort of mentoring, please feel free to reach out as well. So next thing that we're going to do is we are going to start doing a little bit of typing within our application. But first thing first, let me go ahead and push what we've done here. So I'm going to push these changes up to GitHub, and this is update slug. We're going to go ahead and sync those. And if you are wanting to follow along with the code, there is a link in the description down below that will allow you to follow along with this exact repository, so you can follow along with the commits and see what changes I made in each commit and things like that, if that's something that's of interest to you. All right, so next thing that we're going to do here is we are going to go ahead and correctly type our application. So typing is a huge part of TypeScript. Like, it's super important to make sure that what you're doing is correctly typed and like sort of everything is well organized and well defined, because you could accidentally pass the incorrect type to a place that you're using it in your app here, and then you're getting this error and you don't know why. And like the whole purpose of typing is to avoid those kind of issues. So first things first, what I'm going to do on the side here, I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to call it types. I'm going to save that. Oh, you know what? I think I already did. All right. So within this types folder, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it index.ts. And now within this file, I'm just going to create all of the types. I'm going to export them, and then I'm going to import them into the relevant files. That way we don't end up creating types like within smaller files and have to kind of dig around and find them. So the first type that I want to create is this API product type, because this is like the type off of which all other types are going to be based off of, because this contains all of the information. And to be honest, we might only need a couple of types if we use this as our type. So we'll say type equal, or type API product equals, I think, yeah, grab that, save that. And then what I'm just going to really quickly go down and do is just change all of the types in here. So ID is going to be number, this is going to be string, and then most of these are going to be string, so I'll just copy, paste that, that, this, that. So anywhere I see quotes, I'm just replacing it with the type, the type of string, because that is the type it's going to be. Let's go ahead and copy string again. String, 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 string. Yeah. So TypeScript is not interested necessarily in the exact string. You could type it using exact strings, but that would sort of not be great in terms of future proofing, because we'd have to like update the strings here. But if you had a really like specifically secure application, like you cannot insert the wrong information, then I guess that would be useful to do. But we're just going to use the generic type of string for our app here. All right, so let's finish typing these out. Do that, do that, do that, do that. All right, cool. And then we just need to do a couple more numbers and one Boolean. Paste that, paste that, that. All right, and then this one is Boolean, which is a true or false. All right, cool. So we have our type of API product. Let's go ahead and see where we've used any within our app and see where we can go ahead and replace that. So I'm already seeing a spot where we've used any here. It's not API product specifically, but it is this other, where we have our others here. So we could actually just really quickly create a secondary type here and say type recommendations equals others here. And then we can set the type here to be type of recommendations. Oh, and you know what? Sorry, I did not export either of these types. So it would be really hard for us to import them if they're not exported. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and recommendations, import that from types. And we will start to get some errors. And that is just because Oh, you know what? Sorry, let me remove the others. So recommendations is an array. So maybe what I need to do is take out others here. Let's see if I can take out that and that. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Product.slug. Property slug does not exist on type recommendations. Let's see why that is. It should be there. Maybe it's because I have it as in the word recommendations instead of others. That might be the issue there. All right, let's start. Before I go and screw everything up, let me start from the top and then we'll work our way down. All right, let's go with our ID page would probably, or Slug page that we've renamed it, would probably be the best place to start. So what we want to start with is probably this product here. So we could use state, and let's see if this will work for us. We want to set it to type of API product. I think I actually need to move this outside of there, but whoops. Type of API product. Let's see if that'll work for us. Import from types. Awesome. Cool. Oh, never mind. API product. Cool. So far, so good. Now it's saying product is possibly undefined. Let's see if we can just add the questions, features, undefined. All right, so it's giving us, basically, it's saying like, hey, if features does not have a value, how do we know that when you pass it, it's going to be there? Fair enough. What we could do is what I had just done previously here, which is just pass in default values. So I could say we have the, I think, what is it, features, which is, this is basically just a subset of what we are passing in here. So feature is going to be of a string, so I could pass in an empty string. We could say includes, I believe, is an array, or no, it might be also, let me check. Includes is an array, so we can just say it's an empty array. And then we can check out, what is it, gallery and others are also going to give us issues. So gallery is going to be an object, and others is going to be an array. So actually, I think, yeah, gallery is going to be an object, and others is going to be an array. So we'll save that. Includes. Okay, so yeah, now it's going to give me sort of further type errors here. So there are two ways I could handle this. I could keep sort of typing it down, but that would kind of avoid or sort of defeat the purpose of actually typing it. So what I could also do is just go into the actual next, components here and actually go ahead and just give them the option of undefined as well. So that way, while the API data is being fetched, it could also be undefined. And we'll see if that presents us with more or fewer, greater or fewer errors. All right, awesome. So that has worked so far. Let's go and fix the next couple ones here. So gallery could either be that or undefined. So we have not gotten the data back yet. And then we just need to put a question mark here to say, like, if gallery exists, do that, or it could be an empty string. Or that, or, there we go. So yeah, it was just going to give me an error saying like source needs to be defined, source needs to be something, needs to be a type string. So by query, like saying like, oh, if gallery doesn't exist there, what I just did was saying like, if gallery does not return a response, just give it an empty string as a response. We're just going to do the same thing down right below it here. We're going to say empty string. And right here as well. And save that. Cool. Awesome. Let's go back to Slug and fix out our last error here in recommendations. And then it needs to be this or undefined. We'll save that there. And just do a question here, if it exists. And awesome, that has worked so far. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. The name recommendations is defined multiple times. Oh, let me go ahead and remove that from there because that is a duplicate identifier. So we'll probably end up saying recommendations type and save that. But let's go ahead and refresh the page. Oh no, we are getting errors here. So maybe this is not the best way to do that. Product features, product gallery. This is in which file? Product. Oh, this is in a file we haven't touched yet. Product. Let's see if I put a question mark there. If it, product.name. All right. You know what I'm actually going to end up doing is what I said I wouldn't do, which is go ahead and like flesh out the types essentially in this, because it's going to sort of like trickle down throughout the entire app. So what I'm going to do is just copy this whole piece here and drop it in within our Slug file here, save that, and then everywhere it says number, I'm just going to replace it with a 0. Save that. Everywhere it says string, I'm just going to replace it with some open brackets, or quotes, sorry. I think I messed that up there. Save that. And then, oh, where it says Boolean, we're going to say true to begin with. And put a comma there. Oh, you know what? Missed a few strings. Save that. And then just remove all of these and make them commas and save that. Few more strings. Let me double check this time that I got all the strings. All right, that should be all the strings this time. Commas, and then save that. All right, cool. So we have our initial type there. So we should be able to get rid of all of these question marks that we have just added in. So I can actually just go back to here and just discard all of these changes that we've made on these various pages. Okay, awesome. So now we have added the initial type, and we know that our data is correctly typed, at least being passed to the API. However, we know that on a lot of these pages, we're still using the any type. So let's go through and finish typing out these different pages. So let's see. We have our product page. So this product component gets generated or gets created on line 125 here, and it gets passed in the value of product. So product really should just be of the same type of API product from types. We'll save that. And awesome. We've done everything else correctly, so we're not getting any errors there. So awesome, good to go. It'll be a lot faster as we start working through the different products here. Product ID is going to be a number, and I can also just use this as a time to sort of clean up stuff that we're not using. Like we're not even using the product ID here, so we can just clean that up out of this app here, out of this component, I should say. Now we're not passing anything. Hero, we're not passing anything. Category card, category is of type string. Cart, button. Recommendations. All right, we're going to fix recommendations. Product gallery, product features. Footer. Why are we getting an error in footer? Oh, that's because of a where. Category page. All right, so I think we're looking pretty decent. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Item should be any. This is in category item container. So let's look up where this is used. Okay, so this is used in the different category pages. Got you. So it basically creates a new... Okay, so it does the same fetch to the API, and then... So basically, okay, I see what we're doing here. On each of these pages, let's start with the speakers page, actually. What we just want to do is replace... We want to copy and paste this slug. And also, sorry, I've completely missed the fact that we've not typed this here, or we've put the incorrect type here. So type of item should be of API product as well. Awesome, good to go. I wonder if I remove this now, if that would work, because I've now typed item. Probably not, probably still not going to work. It would be great if we didn't need it. No, starting to get a bunch of errors. All right, we'll leave that in there for now. So what we need to do in each of these pages, like in speakers, is just do the same thing, but just updating the data types and things like that. So this needs to be of API product. Save that. And then this should also, this should be an array of API product. Perfect. This should also have a type of API product. An array of API product. So if I can get rid of that. Cool. I don't think we actually even use data, so we might be able to just get rid of that. Probably can't just get rid of that. But we can go ahead and finish typing out the other pages as well. So let's go to headphones. And same thing, API product, array, API product, save that. And same thing here, API product, array, and same thing here, API product. Awesome. All right, I think that's good there. And then now for our item here, it should be of, this is a category item container. So this is used here. So this is coming from, as we said, in our individual categories. And what is that taking in? That's taking in the type of item, which is of API product. I wonder if we remove the type, will it infer it? Yeah, it seems to have inferred it. Awesome. And then if we go to the product, the category item container, we can say API product from our types. And awesome, that's just working as expected. Good. So we know at least that what we've been doing is correct. Like the typing that we've put in, the way we've built the app is correct. It's just now that we know our types are sufficient. I wouldn't recommend doing it this way, the sort of backwards way, if you're unfamiliar with how types work, or you're just transitioning to TypeScript from JavaScript. I think although you will face a few more errors in the initial state of building your application, it's much more, it'll teach you more if you use types initially than using any. So definitely recommend not using any to begin with. I just did it for this build just to show you guys a few more pieces a little bit more quickly, and because I'm very familiar with switching from JavaScript to TypeScript. All right, so the next thing let me go ahead and do a search actually for any and see if we're still using it. All right, we're still using it in recommendations. So let's go ahead and figure out what the correct type there is. Let me see where we're calling recommendations and what we're passing to it. All right, so we're calling it in Slug, and we're passing product.others. So product.others is, let me console log it so we can see what we're actually getting here. Console.log recommendations. Save that. And let's go ahead let's open up the console here. And let's go and see product. Okay, so it's an array of 3 objects. I think that's probably why we're getting that error, because it was not an array. let's go back to our index.ts here. And okay, no, it is an array of 3 objects. Maybe we need to wrap it in an object. Let's see if that works. No, it does not like that. All right, let's leave it as an array. Let's leave it as an array and see if it will take it as a type. So let's say recommendations type. All right, so now we're getting property select does not exist on recommendations type. Recommendations type is an array of objects. But we have type slug. Let's see, recommendations.map over each product. We do have product.slug, right? Yeah, we do have that there. Oh, you know what? I'm making silly mistakes here. I just added an extra array. That was the issue. I was like, the type seems right. So the issue here was that I had added an array. So it was basically saying it was like a double array, like a nested array, but it was not. It was just a singular array. So it's of the recommendations type. One thing I could have done is make a recommendation, like an individual recommendation, and maybe that would actually probably be better practice. So let me say recommendation type. And then if I take out the array here, right, because there could be a world in which we only get one recommendation in the array, and say that. And then if I go to recommendation type, put this as recommendation type, I could then add the array here and the types would be correct. So what it's doing here is saying it's like of type recommendation. So that's what the shape of a recommendation should look like. You only get the slug, the name, and the image information for desktop, mobile, and tablet. But then we might get an array of it from, or we will get an array of it from the API. So we want to put this array symbol here to indicate that it will be an array of type recommendation. So I think this is probably the better way to do it. So that should be pretty much set. Let's go ahead and do another search for any any's in our app. That's just text. App.any. This is Next.js stuff. We're not going to touch any of that. Let's go ahead and type these out. So this is from products. Oh, these are in our API call. So I think we can actually just remove these if, yeah, that had worked on the other page there. So we'll go ahead and just remove these any's. And I'm going to come back and type out the SX as well. Remove that any. Data response. Next API response. Should be. I don't actually have the shape of this data, so we're going to leave this alone for the time being. Or the shape of the API response information. We could dive into that if we'd like, though. Data should be. Let's see. I mean, what if I do type it as API product? What happens there? Data. All right. Oh, you know what? Data is of type, oops. Let's say API product. Hold on, let me go ahead and product, save that. Data. Or if I have to wrap it like that and then give it the type on the outside. No. All right, let's just leave this alone because this is more on the server side. No, I would like to leave that as it is. So we'll leave that alone for now. Also, every once in a while, I just like to check and make sure the app's still working correctly. Cool, good to go. All right. And then in our cart slice. Oh yeah, we have our cart slice. So we have the cart item, which We don't really want this any here. Cart item also should be of a better type. I think it should be API product. All right, that should be the correct type. So we don't actually need this cart item type. This was like a sort of like placeholder type. And then, cool, seems to be working. Oh yeah, and then we have a payload action of any. The payload action here should be, I think it should be API product. Yep, that's correct. Oh, maybe not, maybe not. Let's see what whatever we pulled up here. API product. Oh, you know what? That is incorrect. What if we just pass product? So let me see here. If we pass in product, and then we did ... product dot image dot desktop, or dot mobile, sorry, dot, then we'll add this in here. So that would just overwrite it. We got rid of these. Let that work, and then comma. Spread types, created from object types, fair enough. So we could say image is let me think about how I want to handle the data here. Because basically what I had done previously was just like extract the necessary information. But do I want to pass all of that data? Like I don't necessarily need all of that data to be passed in the add to cart. Let's see. In our cart slice, we can close a bunch of these windows out that we're not using. All right, so in our cart slice, right, we have the object of cart, which is of type API product, which you might have to change. Let me go back actually. Keep this for now. We have the cart state. We have our cart, which it's an array of items of a specific type. So how do we not want to handle this? Or it could be an array of maybe we can create a separate type. So we can create a, there's the API product type, and then we can create an extended type. So extend types, TS. Right. Yes, interface extends that. Cool. And then we just add in another parameter here. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so let's do that. So let's say export type product type extends API product. Oh, you know, I think export interface extends face API product, and then it's going to add in the count param, which is going to be a number, And it's going to add in, what else did we have there? Count. It's going to add in the image param, which is going to be a string. And we could leave, okay, so we'll let it keep the image type. So we'll just add count. So then we'll take this and we'll make it of product type. Whoops. Product type. And then if you go to the product file, we should not need to do any of these. We'll just modify the image. We'll just pass in product. And then hopefully the image just updates for itself. Let's go ahead and let's refresh the page and see if that works. So this is product, which is on our product page. So we need to go see our product in order to see if it's working. Awesome. Still seems to be working. Add to cart, inspect. We're still getting, I should remove this console log, but we're still getting our data as expected. Oh, one thing has changed here. I'm not getting the correct data in the cart. So let's go ahead and see what changed there. Go to our cart, state.cart, product image, product name. Should be good. It's because I'm not passing it in. We're also not getting the price as well. So that could be it. Let me double check in the JSON what it is. No, its name and its price. Let's go ahead and console.log the cart and see what we're getting now. Because we want to use typing, but we want to make sure we also don't screw anything up. So let me remove that other console.log. Remove this one, we don't need it again. And then we'll add one here. Cart, we'll save that. Cool, and then we'll refresh. Inspect, open up our console, clear those out, add to cart, open up our cart. All right, we're getting a key error there, but that's fine. Okay, so now, everything is within product. Got you. Okay, so as we added count and image there, it's basically creating that problem. Okay, so that's what we don't want. So let me see where I can modify this. State.cart, maybe if I just do action.payload. Oh no, we want action.payload. This is happening in our product file. Want to add to cart. Product. So if I take out image and count, what does that look like? Gotcha, so everything is nested within product regardless. Which I guess is correct as well. Product. Okay, and it seems to be only in the cart that this issue is happening, so I can just go ahead and fix that. All right, so we'll have the product and then we'll leave the count in and we'll see how much the image is an issue globally. All right, so we'll go and we'll grab the cart.map for each product. We'll say product. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Add to cart, product. Okay, that worked. Now we just need to fix the image, which just needs to be our replace situation. Dot replace. Or I think it was dot mobile that we wanted to use here. Awesome. And then we just need, it's not product.count, it's just, or is it product.count? Maybe it's just count. No, not just count. Let me check the console log one more time. Add that. Let's see where count is being defined. It is product.count. Well, that's weird that we're not seeing it. The count. Oh, you know what? It's because I've destructured it. Gotcha. So the destructuring works, but not for this one. Product dot image. Maybe that's what I need to do. Product dot image. See if that fixes that. Okay, that fixed that. And then we're just gonna have to do product dot product for all the ones we need. Oops. And then we are getting the count. Okay, awesome. So that has worked at this point. Perfect. So we are set with that. I guess one other really simple thing is I could just change the name. But anyway, we are set with that. I'm gonna update the price really quick here so that it does have a $sign in front of it. I think that would look a little bit better. Save that. And awesome. That's looking pretty good. I think that means, have we typed everything? Hold on, let's check. Any product. Okay, so then we didn't finish this. This is going to be of the product type that just adds an account. That's correct. We can get rid of this cart item type in our interface that we're not using. Get rid of the API product type, which we're not using. We're going to get rid of this any, which we're not using. Then we could get rid of this any to be product type. Or would it be API product? No, it should be product type. That's the correct type. But then we're getting errors here. Let's see where we're getting errors. Product, argument of parameter of product type. Product. That is interesting. So I guess it's because I haven't added product as a type. Like I need to add it as product of API product. Oops. That would fix that error. If I just pass in product. Let's see where we're grabbing product from. Product is of type API product. Oh, maybe it's because I have it in brackets. Product. And then now if I go back and take it out, it should just tell me I'm missing count. Count. Now if I wrap it, all right, now we don't need this extra product, hopefully. See if that works. Okay, let's try this now. Add to cart. Awesome, perfect. That's exactly how it should be working. Perfect, so looks like we fixed up our types. Let's see. There's one more I do want to fix. So this is the any prop from the SX param here. I just want to grab this, I believe, SX props, and use that. SX props. We can use, yeah, this is from Material UI. We're just grabbing the type from there. And I think we successfully eliminated all of our incorrect types. So let's go ahead and push those changes, or let's double check everything's working. Add 3 to cart. Awesome. Go to speakers, see product. Add 2 to cart. Awesome. Those are showing up correctly. Main page seems to be working awesome. So yeah, all right, cool. So we can successfully merge these changes, or commit these changes. So add correct types, and we'll save that, commit that, and push those changes up to GitHub. All right, awesome. Doing pretty well so far. Yeah, if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat below. I'm happy to respond to any questions you might have about what we're working on here, or approaches, or things like that. So next thing that we're going to want to work on is we are going to want to build out that checkout page so we can finally have a full-fledged app. So that's this page right here that I was talking about earlier. We want to make sure that we have the ability to sort of check out our customers, because that's like really important, I think. So let's go ahead and do that. So in our cart page, we want, well, let's start from our pages here. So in our pages here, we want to create a new file and call it checkout.tsx and save that. Awesome. And that's just going to be our brand new page. And we're going to create it of the type of a new page. So I'm just going to borrow all of this and put it in here. Cool. And we're going to call it checkout. And we're going to export default checkout. We're going to save that. And then I am going to leave the footer, but get rid of most other things. Get rid of this. Actually, let me see what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be just the bare nav. So how did we do that before? We just had the nav by itself. So we'll just have the nav by itself. Awesome. So there's the nav and the footer. That is our whole checkout page right now. So if I go to here and I click checkout, oh, I should hook it up. Or if I go and I type /checkout, let's go do it like that, and I hit enter. Awesome. We have the header and the nav, or the header and the footer. So that's what we're expecting to see. So the next thing we're going to want to build out here is the actual like checkout form. So let's go ahead and, yeah, let me build out that component here. So let me go into the components and we'll create a new file and we'll call it checkout. All right, and we'll create that. Awesome, and then we'll import that here. So checkout, save that. Cool. And oh, one other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate this as a link for this button here. So I'm going to say link, and I'm going to wrap it around the word checkout, and then I'm going to say the href equals to /checkout. I'll save that. and import this link from next link. We'll save that. Okay, awesome. Exit page. Seems like the page froze. All right, let's refresh. Oh, we're getting a callback issue here. Let's uncomment this and see what the issue is. Okay, we have the page returning the div. Everything seems to be normal. We go into our checkout. It's just a div. I don't see that either. That should cause problems, but let's go ahead. Let's go back to the home page. Oh, that's super weird. Like literally nothing is working. We've imported the correct nav. Yeah. We are using the correct page syntax, I think. Spelled correctly. Everything's good there. Interesting. That's super weird. All right, let's go back to the home page and see if everything's working. All right, everything's working here. Let's see if we can just go to the checkout page here. Oops. Let me inspect. Oh, I am still getting a weird console log, so I can remove that. Doesn't have anything to do with the checkout, I don't think, but, or maybe it does. No. All right, so remove that. We'll go back to our cart page. Our cart component. Link to checkout. Checkout. That's super weird. If folks have thought about why this isn't working, feel free to comment down below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Alternatively, I'm going to do something random here and create a new file and say test, or let's call it new speakers, or new, let's call it computers. Just pretend we had a new product, sorry. .tsx, paste that. And then where it says headphones, I'm just going to replace it with computers. And then I'm going to go to /computers. It should look exactly the same. And everything works like as expected. Super weird. If I paste all of that in checkout, oh, was there a missing return statement? No, it was there. And if I paste everything from computers into checkout, and refresh, and type in checkout, everything seems to be working. Oh, yeah, no, that's working. Yeah, all right, so I think it's just something I did. Let me go ahead and delete this test file while I was removing some of these default exports. So let me go ahead and be a little bit more careful here. I'm going to change this name to checkout. Save that, refresh, see if the page is still working. Okay, cool, working. I'm going to go ahead and remove some stuff again. And then refresh one more time. All right, cool. Things are still working. Awesome. I'm going to remove the category page header. Refresh. Things are still working. Okay, cool. Oh, is it because it doesn't have an API response? I wonder if that's it. If I take this out, does it still work? Nope, still works. All right. Not that. Let me go ahead and import checkout and see if that breaks it. Oh, you know what it is? Oh, I'm so silly. I like duplicated the name. That was such a silly mistake. All right, so let's rename this to checkout container. So it's like trying to figure out which checkout to use. That's such a dumb mistake. All right, let's try this again. Save that. All right, refresh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, broke it again. All right, let's forget the component here. Let's just forget that. Save that. Go back to localhost 3000 and go to /checkout and see if that works. All right, cool. It's working. Like, things are still working. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to start building this within the component. And then I'll try and move it later. That seems to be something glitchy going on there. Yep. All right, cool. So we'll just say hi. All right, cool. It's generally working. All right, so we're going to add in a container first for Material UI. And then within this container is where everything else is going to live. So first things first, we need this large box, this checkout box scenario, and then we need the summary on the right-hand side. All right, so let's see if it will let me put something within this. So let's say checkout, let's say checkout, let's say box. I don't want to name it checkout because it seems to be triggering something. Let's call it payment details. And as I mentioned before, if you're interested in doing this for yourself, you can always use something like Stripe or another payment management option. That's probably what I would do if I was making this my own site. But in terms of styling, I think it's useful for us to go through how we style it. All right, say payment details. Cool, working, awesome. Let's go ahead and style within payment details now. All right, so within payment details, we want to have like this box. So we'll start with a box. And we're going to add in a typography element. It's going to say checkout. Save that. And then we're going to have billing details, shipping. All right, cool. So variant equals h1, sx equals font size, maybe 2.5 rem, text transform, uppercase, save that. It's a little bit, is it too big? Yeah, it's a little bit too big. Let's say 2. Yep, and then we'll say font weight. We'll say 800. Save that. Cool, and then we'll say letter spacing. Let's say 1.25 rem. Too big. 1 rem. 0.5 rem. Save that. Let's say 0.5. 0, let's say 1. I wonder if it's supposed to be a number actually. 1.5. All right, we'll just leave it like that. And then we need to do our billing details and essentially all of these little form scenarios. So we're not actually going to end up submitting this form. So I think we can just create these as text box and go from there. So we'll go to billing details. We'll go create another element called billing details. So typography. We'll call this variant equals h2. We'll say billing details. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, massive. All right. So we'll use SX to style it. We'll say text transform uppercase, save that. And we will say font size 1 rem, save that. Maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 1.5, save. And then we'll grab this color here, this consistent orange, and we'll say color that. And then we'll say font weight. It's going to be 800. We'll save that. Maybe too thick. Let's say 600 or 500. There we go. And maybe 1.25 rem for the size. All right, cool. That looks pretty good. I think so. We'll have the checkout at the top here, and then we'll have these 3 sort of boxes that go below it. So yeah, let's make 3 boxes to wrap these sort of together. So we'll say, whoops. We'll say box, box. Wrap that. And actually, let me create the first one, and then we can just copy and paste it and modify for the second and third one. So we have our box, and then first thing we need is name, email address, phone number. So I think Material UI has a text box element, text field, and these are outlines. So we can grab the basic outline text field from Material UI and use that. All right, so we have our text field, which we'll import from Material UI. Oops. Awesome. Save that. And then, let's see. Okay, so we have our outline text field. And then we need a label. Does it offer us the option to do a label? Yeah, label. We have a label inside, but we want a label outside. Placeholder. Oh, we have a placeholder and a label. Okay, let's try that. So we'll say placeholder is, what's the placeholder? Alexi Ward. And label is name. Let's see what that looks like. No, not exactly what we want there. Oh, I see what happens. So that when they go into the thing, okay. I'm actually kind of okay with that. So we can sort of update this design a little bit. So you can say name, and it'll be a little bit cleaner as well. So we'll do name, we'll do email. We can change these IDs as well, so that if we ever were to use it, we can much more easily target these fields. And placeholder will be alexi@mail.com. Save that. And then I'm going to wrap these 2 in a box so that they stay on one line together. And then I'm going to put the next text field on its own line and put that down here. And that's going to be for phone number. Phone number, and what's the demo phone number here? Plus 202-555 +1 202-555-00136. Awesome. Cool. And we'll save that. Then what else do we need to do? I guess just add some margin or spacing to the whole thing. So let's create these boxes in this outside thing to begin with, actually. So we're going to grab F1 for the larger, where is this? This is going to be for the page, actually. So style equals background color is going to be hashtag F1, 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 F1. We're going to save that. Awesome, did that. And then the background color for the box here is going to be white. So we'll say SX equals background color is white. And we'll save that. Cool, awesome. So then let's add some padding. So it looks like there's like a little, like maybe a couple of rem just all the way around. So we'll add in some padding here. Let's try 4M all the way around. Looks pretty good. And then we should add some margin to the outside there. Maybe another 4M top. Margin 4M 0. Cool, looking a lot closer. Awesome. Then, oh, and you know what? I think what we're going to end up doing is adding a width to this as well. So let's say width 60% and save that. Yeah, because it's not going to take up the whole page. Maybe 70%. Yeah, it looks about accurate. It's going to take up only a portion of the section here. And then we can add some padding now to our individual components here. So let's go add some margin to the bottom of this first element here. Add some margin to the bottom of billing details. Save that. Maybe 1.5. Save that there. Cool. And then we want to space these around a little bit better. So let's say for this box, say SX equals display flex, and then we'll say flex, or we'll say justify content. Let's say space between, and save that. Okay, awesome. I think they do need to be a little bit wider for that to work. So maybe, I wonder if we can just give it a width, or if there's like a specific, there's like a size property or something like that. Say size, small. I wonder if there's like a large option. Let's try it. Let's go in size. So default is medium, so let's try, oh, and it's not giving me a large option. I don't know if this is gonna work. Small or medium, no, that's not gonna fly. Maybe I'll just say width 10 rem. Let's see if that makes them wider. That makes it smaller, but at least it did work. Let's say 40 rem. Okay, too wide. Let's say 20 rem. Yeah, and then we'll make them both width, or all of them width of 20 rem. One thing we could be doing throughout this whole app is using style components. I'll probably follow up with that, sort of how to do that in a video on like how to customize your own Material UI project. But that'd be a really cool and useful thing to take advantage of, I think, using style components as opposed to just regular old, like repeating the same thing over and over again. And then I'm just going to add a margin bottom. Or you know what? I could actually, for this outer box, because it should be a box around the boxes, all the text fields, I should say. Let me wrap that there. And we'll say SX equals display flex, save that. And we'll say flex direction column, save that. And then we'll say align items, or no, we'll say, sorry, justify content. We'll say space between. We'll save that. All right. I'll just add some margin to the bottom here. Margin bottom. 1 rem. Save. Whoops. Margin. Maybe 2 rem. Cool. And that looks pretty decent. I think I'm going to change it to 1.5. But other than that, I think we're pretty good there. Next thing I want to do is have the shipping info and the payment details section. So what I'm actually going to do is literally just copy this larger box and drop it right below it. So copy that and paste it down there. And that way I don't need to sort of redo a whole bunch of different styles and things like that. I can just reduce, reuse, recycle. So one thing I will add to this outer box is some styling. I'm going to say margin bottom of 2 rem, or maybe 4 rem. Save that. Cool. And then this one's going to be shipping info. The second one here could be shipping info. I'm going to save that. The lower part here is going to be address, zip code, city, and country. So let's start with the first one. Let's say address. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swap these 2 boxes. Move this one up here. Change this to address. What if I just say width 100%? That works. That's a lot better. Address, and we'll say margin bottom 1.5 rem. Save that. And we'll say address, zip code, city. So we'll say zip code, city, New York. And then country is going to be 1 right below it. So we'll drop that one down there. I'm going to say country. Save that. Cool. And then last section here is going to be payment details. So again, just going to copy this last. Actually, which one should I copy? I'll copy the top box. Copy this. Drop that in here. Copy this. Actually, I shouldn't need it in that. I should just drop it in here. Save that. That's going to be payment details. We're going to save that. And we're going to say payment method. And then we're going to have to put a select here. But let's just drop in the e-money number and the e-money pin. Again, we're not going to be using these things. I definitely recommend using Stripe. But this is the design, so we'll follow through. So we're going to use this e-money number. I don't know, something like that. And then we'll say e-money pin. suppose it's 6891. Something like that. Yep. And then up top here is going to be a little bit different. So let me move this one up here. We'll say we're actually going to wrap this in a box. There's going to be 2 of them. Or, I guess we don't necessarily need to. Me to align self. Let's see, flex end works. Yep, we're going to just do that for these 2. Paste that. And then we can just have a little typography element that says payment method. And save that. Awesome. That looks pretty close to what we want to have. I think the only thing I'll modify is I will wrap these in a box and then wrap that in a box. Just so we can get it all nicely aligned and stuff like that. Save that. Save that. Awesome, cool. Oh, and then, sorry, one more thing we need to change. We need to make those selects instead of text fields. Selects, and not selects. What are those? Checkboxes? Checkboxes, button groups. Radio groups, that's what it is. We're going to use these form control labels. Okay, imported that. And one's going to be e-money, and the other one's going to be cash on delivery. E-money, small e, e-money. The other one is going to be, don't recommend doing this, but cash on delivery for headphones. Delivery, cash on delivery. Save that. We'll get rid of this phone number text field here, and we'll add some margin bottom to this. We can wrap each of these in a box. Maybe I could just set the width to be 50%. I'll just drop this on the other one. And then grab that, paste that there, save that. Add some margin bottom to the top one. Save that. Awesome. And so yeah, we have a pretty much set up checkout left-hand side. Let's really quickly build out the summary button, and then we will be 100% done with the styling of this website. Pretty exciting. So in our summary, new file, summary.tsx, save that. And then we'll drop this in our checkout. Save that there. And then I'm just going to borrow some of the stylings from here because they are very similar. I'm going to borrow the box and the checkout. Save that, import those. And oh, you know, it's showing at the bottom right now because I need to make this a flex box. Or maybe I need to wrap it in a box and make that a flex box. SX equals display flex. Oh, we need to import box. Cool. Awesome. And then we're going to modify, so we can close this. We can just modify the width and things. So we're going to say like 25%. We're going to say, that's called summary. Good. We don't need so much padding. Say maybe 2 rem. And then we can say the height is going to be like, what, like 30%? Say that. Good. Maybe 70%. Well, we'll leave it at 30 for now and see what happens. And then we want a margin left of at least 1 rem. Let's say 2. All right, cool, pretty good. And then we want the total, the shipping, the tax, and the grand total, and then a continue and pay button. All right, so it's going to be a bunch of little typography elements here. So we'll say typography, topography, whoops, put that back there. Total, shipping, tax, grand total. Say total. I think the variant is going to be a body 1. Save that. And then we say font color, or sorry, just color is going to be this color right there, which is 80. 80. We're going to save that. And then text transform it to uppercase. We're going to save that. And we're going to add some font weight to maybe 600. We're going to save that. Cool. That looks pretty good. And then we're just going to, oh, and then it's going to need a number on the right hand side. So these are actually numbers that we should be calculating. So I'm just gonna drop that there, save that, copy this, paste that, and then I'm just gonna leave the color as black and take out the text transform. And so this should be like the dollars that it actually costs. And then I'm gonna set this to be a flex box. Flex box. And then justify content is going to be space between. Save that. Awesome. And so we'll have our total, and you know, I'm actually going to take away the font weight as well. It doesn't need to be so bold. save that. Cool. So total, shipping, and tax. So let's copy this. Total, shipping, tax. And then we'll have the grand total. Add some margin bottom here. Oops, to the wrong one. Okay. Where did that errant B go? There it is. Cool. And then a continue and pay button right below that. I'm going to say button, and this is going to be our button that we've created. I'm just going to say continue and pay. And the variant, is it the variant? Is going to be contained. And the color is going to be that orange again. Pretty sure it's this one. Or close. It's this one. Is that this one here? Yeah, that's what it is. All right, cool. So we'll drop that in as the color. Save that. Awesome. And then we're just going to say that this has a margin top of 1 rem. And then we're going to say that it has a width. Oops, not width. Width of 100%. We're going to save that. Awesome. And that looks pretty decent. Yeah, the only other thing we'd want to do here is actually pass in the information that we're getting from the cart. So what I could really quickly do is just copy some stuff over here from the cart. And like, if we were to refactor this, we could definitely sort of make it a little bit more, have more reusable components, but we can just grab what we need here for this. So we can go say, grab that, drop it in to our summary here, import what we need from there, and then do a quick map of the cart. We'll drop that in here. And that's going to be below the word summary, right? Yeah. Save that. Image is going to be from next image. Import image from next image. We're going to save that. And awesome. So now if we go ahead and add some products to cart, we go to checkout, we're seeing it there. All right, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty content with that. You know, I mean, there are obviously several optimizations we could make. We can calculate the totals here, you know, we can do the counts. We can basically multiply how much the total is based on the count. And that's a really quick change to make, actually. Like, we can just grab the total count here, and then just we can use a utility function to calculate the total. But we're going to leave it here for today. Let me know if you'd like to see any more on this series, if there's anything else you would like to see with this website. It's a pretty fully fleshed out website. As I said, there's a few more pieces of logic we could add in. There are always optimizations we could make to make sure that we don't have any errors, any bugs, any things like that. But I don't want to spend dragging on too much time doing things that, you know, I'm sure you guys would do sort of differently yourselves. So yeah, if you do have any questions, or if you are interested in learning how to code, definitely reach out to me. You can follow up by checking the first link in the description below. That will have the information for my website, Davidson Programming Academy, and that is where we teach folks how to learn how to code, how to join the sort of software engineering career path and how to become a front-end developer specifically. So yeah, if you're interested in that, definitely click on that first link in the description. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts about this tutorial, would love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to drop a comment down below. I do respond and read all of the ones that are posted on the videos on the channel. And yeah, if there's anything else I can help you out with, please let me know. If not, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.